Hey everyone. So this time I'm going to try something different. Usually when I play with a medium, I like to see how far I can push it as far as colors and effects and stuff like that. And then I also do the reverse, trying to do things intentionally subtle with it. And that's kind of tricky sometimes. Sometimes it's really easy. This particular medium, it's been a little tricky because the colors are so rich and so saturated. So let's hang on and find out what happens. Howdy, howdy, y'all. Okay, so we are playing with the ornaments and primary element pigment paste. So these colors are super, super saturated, and they've turned out amazing with the different ornaments, and they're bold and bright and nice blends and stuff like that. Uh, and I've tried to do on a couple of them some things where it's like half of it was interference and half of it was color, and I found the entire ornament ended up still being color. So this time I'm actually trying to do the reverse. I'm trying to go for something subtle, and it well there. Let me just put it this way: there's 3 attempts here. So I'm working with the heart ornaments, the heart shaped ones. And these are those heirloom ornaments from Judy Sands, and they're lovely. Um, and I'm laying in a bunch of just a layering of different interference colors. So the blingets or the pearls. And by the way, in the back at the end of this video, I'm going to definitely put in some photos of immediately afterwards, and then the next day, and then there'll be a photo of the colors I've been using too. So definitely check those out because we've got 3 colors. Let's see what I'm doing: blue, a pink, and a green one. And you'll see towards the end what I'm talking about. But anyway, so I've got this thing nicely covered with a bunch of different interferences. I'm putting them to the side. There's even a little bit, like you saw, a little shimmer of gold in there, just a touch. So we're bringing out the sparkles and stuff, and then just a little bit of blue, just not much. There's barely anything on the tip of this, and so I'm trying to do it on one edge, and then a little bit on the opposite edge, but not in the middle. So unfortunately, it's not on camera, but I'm trying to just basically tap the blade of it. And it's really tricky because you're putting it on the inside. The outside is coated with the interference colors. So it's hard to tell exactly how much, but there's barely anything on that stick each time I insert it in there. A little bit more gold. I'm trying to patch up the clear glass on the end there. And, okay, come on. I want to see it so I could talk about it. Oh, I will talk about this much. So each one of these ornaments is coated with a polyacrylic, and I've drained out the polyacrylic as much as possible. You can see the one in the background that has a little bit of a puddle to it. I'll probably drain that little puddle out as well. I guess that was... I hope you saw the blue one. I showed it briefly. I'm trying to do this voiceover with it sped up, and it's rather tricky. So this particular... Okay, so these got the coating of polyacrylic, and this is the resist that Colourarte sells also. It puts in spots in there, makes it look like an antique type of glass. And now we're doing the interference combination of the bling and the pearl. And the bling is a super, super fine, and I usually try to describe it as a glitter so people understand that, but they're all micas. So the sparkle comes from just pure mica, which is cool. And also keep in mind, if you're using, like, let's say a red blinget and a blue blinget, they won't blend together and create a purple in there. You'll see red and you will see blue, but you will not see a mix of it. Now there is a purple available. You can use that. Now I try to use the pearl last because the pearl usually coats it like a blanket really, really well, whereas the blingets are, like I said, that fine glitter type of texture, and so they will put little dots in there everywhere, little sparkle bits. Okay, so I'm putting in the pink, and this one is super saturated with color, and I tried really hard to be subtle, but the pink is really, really strong. So you can already see it starting to bleed on the top edge there, and that's okay if it's going to stay like that. But the subtle ones really are pretty, so it is possible. A little bit more gold in there. And I think what I'm doing here with the gold is just filling up pockets. But when you're tapping in the primary elements, use the fatty part of your hand to tap the ornament onto. And that way it helps to move around any kind of loose particles that are inside. So you see how much white is showing? I'm going to put this to the side while I do the other one. And then I take the pictures of all three. So you can tell in a short period of time what the colors actually start doing. Alright, so this is my third one. I believe this one's going to be the green one. And we're going to do the same kind of thing. I've got, I think, like, let's see the interference colors. There's a red, a purple, a blue, a green, and a gold to choose from. And, well, I'll be honest, I've got all the colors because I really like the interference colors a whole lot. You can also add them to other colors to create an interference color. Now, you do use them, the blingets and the pearls, I will use them with my resin colors from Colourarte, and that particular line of colors is called Resin Art. And they work really, really well. Like if I wanted to take one of the, let's say the jasmine of the Resin Art color and add some blingets to that, it can punch up the sparkle quite a bit. If you get a tint that you're using with resin and you want to give it a luster, kind of a sheen to it, you can add a little bit of the blinget pearl to it, and that'll do it really well. Now that one will actually kind of cloud it because it comes in a little bit more opaque. But if you didn't want to change the color at all, add the blinget to it instead. And the blinget won't really change the color at all. It will add a little bit of slight undercast of another color to it. Like when you move your piece around, you can see say if you did it on a fuchsia color and you add purple to it, so when you shift it a little bit, you might get a little bit of a purple shift. They're a lot of fun to play with. Alright, so I've already got my green inside, and I'm just using gold to help fill in the gaps. And that one's turned out nicely. Okay, so enjoy the photos, and I wish the pink had stayed this light, but it did keep on going and going. So if you want to try subtle, just use tiny bits. Anyway, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, but definitely hit the bell to get notified next time I put a video up. Later, y'all.